All right, class. Welcome to your intro, first day of CJUS444. This is going to be white collar crime. Forgive me because I have a dog here and I don't want to disturb him. So he's going to, apparently, he's going to stay here the whole time. That was his decision, by the way. So, white collar crime, this is specifically what I do. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Brian Money. I'm a detective with the Riverside Police Department. I've been a police officer for about 28 years, give or take, with some reserve training before that. I have actually been in what they call economic crimes or major fraud for over 20 years now. So this is kind of my area of expertise. I work actually in the homicide unit. My sergeant is a homicide sergeant. However, my expertise is major investigations, fraud, counterfeiting, embezzlement, money laundering, things like that. Okay? So that's what this class is going to be all about, white collar crime. One of the things I'd like to say about that is probably the most commonly occurring crime on the planet Earth. And it's gaining even more traction as we go. It's really great to know some stuff about this. We're gonna have some fun in the class as we move on. I'm even gonna teach you guys, kind of in a way, I almost hate to say it, but how to commit a white collar crime. Not so much so that you guys would go out and commit it, because if you do it in my jurisdiction, I'll catch you. Okay. However, I think it's important for us to know how these crimes are committed so that we can in fact defend the public against them. Okay, so this is an upper division course. We are going to focus primarily on California state laws. I think I'm going to have a cat in the video here in a minute too, so I got all sorts of shenanigans going on. Now he's clawing at the cat post, which is holding the camera, so hopefully that didn't affect anything. Anyhow, again, we're going to talk about white collar crime in terms of primarily California law. However, we will talk about some federal statutes as well. One of the things I really like people to understand is that white collar crime has a lot of different facets to it. What is white collar crime? That's going to be a paragraph you guys are going to write for me and have ready by the next class. It could mean a lot of things. Generally, when we say white collar crime, we're talking about those crimes that aren't things like robbery or burglary or anything like that, although that could actually happen too. Embezzlement is a very common one. One of the things that I focus on quite a bit is financial elder abuse. That's a real big thing that's happening in our society right now. So anyhow, we'll talk about some different techniques, how to investigate these things, even to a small extent, a very small extent, forensic audits, how to basically do an accounting of theft. Okay. So the class, as I said, is it is going to be asynchronous in this, and it is going to be online. It's just kind of how we're having to do it this quarter. Unfortunately, guys, I really like teaching class in person, but we have to kind of roll with the flow here. Okay. So anyhow, you will have your course syllabus. Before we go deeply into the course syllabus, I want to remind you to please go out and get your textbook. The text is a little bit expensive as a hard copy. However, the ebook is fairly reasonably priced, and I would recommend that. Plus, you have the PDF, OCR functions and such with it, so it's just a lot easier to research material on the ebook version. Unless you want the hard copy for your library or whatever. But the book is Trusted Criminals. It's White Collar Crime in Contemporary Society by Dave Friedrichs. I want you guys to get the 4th edition, okay? There is still 3rd editions out there and even a couple 2nd editions, but they've been pretty significantly updated. So please get the 4th edition. You should also have access, of course, to Microsoft Word and Excel because we will be doing some light work on Excel with some spreadsheets and such. We will write an essay. I really like essays as far as drawing kind of the concepts and the principles of the class together. That will be worth 15% of your grade, so it's significant. You don't want to not do the essay. Because if you don't do the essay, if you do everything else perfectly, then the best grade you can hope to get is an 85%, okay, which you will most likely not do perfectly if you don't turn in an essay. Quizzes are about 10% of your grade. We try to do a quiz each class. Case studies and projects, those are more significant, about 25% of your grade. And again, we do a case study or project each class. Tests are worth 20% of your grade. Usually after usually 2, maybe 3 quizzes, then we take a test. And then the final. Everything is cumulative, by the way, guys. So one quiz will build on the next, will build on the test, will build on the final. Okay? And then attendance, which is kind of difficult to do in asynchronous, but the main thing for attendance will be participation. Are you turning in your assignments? Are you responding to me? That's a big one. Make sure you guys respond when I ask that you do so. You could if you decide to look at your email and start the work at 2 a.m. in the morning, that's fine. Just get the assignments done on time. I really don't like late work. If I do get late work, it typically gets marked down. Okay. The grading system is pretty simple. 90 to 100 is an A, 80 to 89 a B, 70 to 79 a C, 60 to 69 a D, and no one would ever get 59 and below, which is an F. Okay. So anyhow, we're going to be attaching the course syllabus to my email. You guys should be able to look through that and know what's going on. I'm also going to include a class schedule. Now this could be changed, altered as we go on, depending. I may add to it, I may take away from it. However, it gives the more or less the 10-week schedule, tells us what we're going to be doing on what day. That gives you guys an idea, ability to kind of plan around things. For example, on 1/13, this Thursday, we'll be looking at a paragraph that'll be due by next week. Okay, that's the what is white collar crime paragraph. And then as you can see, as we go through the schedule, there'll be different assignments, tests, quizzes, things like that. So make sure you take a look at that. That'll be attached to your email. One more thing attached to your email is our grade report. Now, I do not use Blackboard, green board, whiteboard, yellow board, whatever board. I use old-fashioned paper. So you guys should print this grade report out and keep track of your own grades. You should be accountable to that. I will also have a copy that I document your grades in as well. But this way you could kind of self-monitor how you're doing in the class, okay? Of course, you know, if the class moving along and you want to see how you're doing, you could ask me and I'll respond, okay? So what we want to do is we want to make sure you guys have a good time with a class that isn't necessarily designed to be online, but I want you guys to have fun with it. Like I said, we're actually going to do some exercises that'll help you understand how some of this crime occurs. For example, checks. People maybe get your checking account information. Can you get and make checks just with stuff online? You'd be amazingly surprised how easy it is. How about credit cards? Yeah, very simple. Everything you need you can buy on Amazon. We're going to go over that. Even counterfeit currency, it's pretty simple to make. Now the problem is if you get caught. If you get caught, it could be significant. Who is committing white-collar crime? In the old days, you'd think of the, you know, little nerdly guy, as it were, that would commit these sort of crimes. But now it's different. if I want to commit a bank robbery, it's a pretty awful thing. First of all, I'm going to go in there with a gun and a mask, and I'm going to start pointing guns at people, and it could be traumatic for everybody in the bank. Now, what's going to happen? I'm not going to get away with a lot of money. Generally, you're lucky if you get away with about $5,000. The problem is they probably sneaked a die pack, an explosive die pack inside the cash, and it's going to blow up. And it's pretty darn brutal when it blows up. I've seen it blow car windows out, by the way. Now you end up with a zinc all over your body that pretty much doesn't come off. So that's one thing you have to worry about. The second thing you have to worry about is you're going to have two police agencies chasing after you. You're going to have the local police, like, for instance, my police department. Then you're also going to have the FBI, who are responsible for banks and such. So you're going to have two actual police agencies out chasing you. Okay? So why commit bank robbery? It's silly. Why not sit in the comfort of your own home, behind your computer, and steal millions? You could literally steal millions. And that's what a lot of the organized crime groups, terrorist organizations, criminal street gangs, that's what they're doing now. They're actually looking for opportunities to commit white-collar crime. So it's almost a misnomer now that we call it white-collar crime. It's just fraud. And it's so darn easy to commit that a lot of these really terrible organizations are taking advantage of that. And they're finding that it's lucrative and it's easy, and it's hard to investigate, trust me. A lot of times I feel like I'm chasing phantoms or ghosts, because in the old days when we would chase bad guys, we could look up their IP addresses, internet protocol address, and that would help us track down to a certain location. Well, now we know those things are garbage. I mean, it's so easy now with proxy servers and VPNs. You could really mask your IP. So anyhow, I wanted to just kind of throw all that out there at you. Embezzlement. Embezzlement's another one that we need to discuss kind of more at length, but we're going to do that during the class. So what we want to do is we want to make sure you guys understand kind of the motivation behind it. One thing I will say, and it's very interesting, I've actually had some articles that I've written that have been put into different papers and periodicals. My perception of embezzlement, when you steal from your employer or a trusted person, a fiduciary, as it were. So most often we hear of embezzlement where we're stealing from a company, for example. One of the one of the more significant embezzlements I investigated personally was at my own police department. Our police officer association, sadly enough, a former police employee who was our office manager for our police officer association, that's a union, by the way, decided to help herself to roughly $350,000 of our money. The investigation took quite a long time. I think I ended up with a spreadsheet, a forensic accounting of about 8,000 line items. It was a significant amount of money. But the one thing that allows a embezzlement suspect to commit crime is trust. So like the name of our book, Trusted Criminals. Trust is the thing. If you have employees at your job that you think are stealing, it's probably not going to be them. It's going to be your best employee. You're wow, so-and-so, they're such a good employee. They're always on time. They're always so helpful. Unfortunately, those are the ones that are stealing from you because they use that trust, and that's how they gain the influence. So we want to make sure you guys understand a lot of these concepts, and we will definitely go into more detail with these. But you guys get the idea. I want you to hang in there. We'll have fun. We'll do some cool assignments. But please don't be, concerned too much about the online format. We'll make it work. So we'll see you guys next week. And I appreciate you listening in. And make sure you get your paragraph done. Take care.